Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Joseph Bogorad, and I'm a full-time real estate agent here in Mammoth Lakes, California. I really appreciate you clicking on this video and learning the first steps to buy a second home or a primary home here in Mammoth Lakes, California. I'm going to go through a slideshow and I'm going to run down all the things that kind of go with my initial conversation with someone who's interested in a property here in Mammoth. It's definitely not going to be everything, but it's going to be a good starter. And I'll mention that we'll be making other videos about rental income, different neighborhoods, and much more. So make sure you like, subscribe, do it all, or just reach out to me and we can do a private call as well. Let's get it going. So you want to buy a property in Mammoth Lakes, California. Congratulations. It's a big first step, and if you're in a position to do this, that's huge. It's not easy to buy property in California, and definitely not a ski resort area. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So first, we're going to review your motivation, what type of property is best for you. We'll go through different scenarios, pros and cons of the two types of property here in Mammoth. And then we're going to talk about an overview of the process and some tips and tricks that we have. All right, before we get really deep into it, I want to kind of define a couple things that may be confusing along the way. First off, short-term rental. We can also call this STR. It also means Airbnb, VRBO. These are all things that we like to use for verbiage. They all mean the same thing, short-term rental, 30 days or less. And when we say home, let's talk about single-family homes. These are detached structures. They're typically not in an HOA. Sometimes they are, but they're not it's a home. It's like standalone and not in a dense condo complex. All right, so the first question we should ask is why? Why do you want a property in Mammoth Lakes, California? I like to ask for your top 3 reasons. This could be lifestyle, you love the area, legacy. Sometimes people inherit some cash or they're sitting on some cash and they have kids who love the area and they want to teach your kids how to snowboard, hike, fish, and I love that. Some people reach out to us for investment, right? Airbnb, appreciation, return on investment, and then other people reach out to us for convenience. Maybe their kids are on ski team and they're just tired of bringing their stuff up every time and getting a hotel. Okay, so depending on your why, this is going to really put you in a position of either a condo or a single family home. So number 1, if you want a nightly rent, Airbnb, you probably want a condo. Why? Because most condos in Mammoth Lakes do allow short-term rentals, and most homes do not. Of course, there are exceptions, and we'll go into that. So again, to clarify, most condos can be an Airbnb. Some cannot. So if you're browsing Zillow and you see a condo with a price that's too good to be true, usually it is because it's probably deed restricted, meaning it's saved for affordable housing. Maybe the town bought it and they have it in this particular program where they sell it at an affordable price to a local who's going to be there full time, and not even that person can nightly rent it. Sometimes they can't even long-term rent it. They need to live there. So again, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Single family homes. Most homes do not allow nightly rentals. Why? Because of a measure, an ordinance passed in 2015 called Measure Z. And basically neighbors and homeowners got together and they said, there's enough Airbnbs in the area. We don't need to have these neighborhoods with nightly renters as well. So ever since then, as a general rule, most homes cannot be nightly rented. Again, some can. They're in particular zones, typically the resort zone. I know you're probably thinking, but I've seen homes listed for rent on Airbnb. Yeah, so either it might be illegal, in some cases it is, or they're just trying to get a 30-day renter in there. That's another strategy where you just do 30-day rentals month to month. And some people have found success doing that. Okay, so back to Mammoth condos. So first, what are some of the pros for the condos? So we have a lot more options, from studio floor plans to big floor plans to denser condos to townhome style condos, and even the prices range a lot too, right? So right now, as of May 2024, you can get a condo for around $400,000. And of course, they go up from there. And homes, you don't really see that. The cheapest home on the market right now is about $750, and it's basically a fixer. So that will give you kind of an idea of the differences there. And then, of course, a pro, in my opinion, is the HOA. It's good to have someone to take care of the exterior, the roof, the snow shoveling, the lawn maintenance, all of that. I think that's a huge benefit on paying an HOA. And then, of course, you get nightly rent in some cases. And in many cases, there are great amenities like a pool, a hot tub, sauna, and sometimes even a tennis court. Another thing I want to mention about an HOA, it is great in the sense as well. In Mammoth Lakes, it's really tough to find contractors. Really hard. So if you need someone, if an emergency happens or you need your roof shoveled, it can be really hard to find somebody. And it could take a lot of your time. And of course, it's going to cost. In an HOA situation, there's a board. You got people working on it kind of for you. So it could save you time and sometimes money as well. But time is the big one for me. So some cons, sometimes people don't want shared walls. And, in some cases, parking is open. There's not a particular or a reserved spot for you in some cases. Also, a con could be HOA. You have no control over assessments and kind of what's going on and how well it's managed. So that's a big one. And then in some cases, Airbnbs could be a con as well. Maybe you don't want someone new next to you every other day. So something to consider as well. And then financing. So of course, financing in these condos can be tricky because they do look like condo hotels, because most of them are Airbnbs and some of them have daily cleaning. So it looks like a hotel, and financing can be tough. We'll get into this later about we have lenders that we can refer to, but that comes later. So let's go over some types of condos. So you can have the traditional condo where you're kind of more stacked on top of each other. And, this could not be so great if you're in an older complex. I know the ones in the 70s, you can hear a lot of people above you. But sometimes that's cool too, because it kind of insulates it in terms of heat. So you can leave it on lower temperature sometimes if you're leaving versus a home. And then you also have shared garages. So sometimes these garage situations could just be open outside where you just find a spot. The only time I've seen this kind of get difficult is during like popular holidays, Christmas, for example, and on the big snow years. Parking could be tough. If it's underground parking, it's usually pretty relaxed, especially because you typically have a reserved space for you, but then it's shared sometimes. So just keep that in mind. And then you have your townhome. This is a great option. And typically there you own the ground space and the second floor. So the first floor and the second floor is all yours. So typically no one above, no one below. You can jump around and you just share either a wall on one side or the other side or both sides. I love those. Those are great floor plans. So sometimes they do come with a private garage. This is kind of more in the Snow Creeks, Courchevel, near Canyon, or sometimes it's just open parking in a townhome community. We always get this question, will my Airbnb make money? And of course, we'll do another class on this and we'll get more into it. But in a nutshell, as of May 2024, if you have a mortgage, you probably will not cash flow year over year. It's really tough right now with all the fees, taxes, cleaning fees, and the rates just aren't that high throughout the summer months. Of course, you can make tons of money during the winter months. I own a 1-bedroom condo. I've done some Airbnbs there. And during Christmas, you can get close to $500 a night on a 1-bedroom condo. It's pretty crazy. That's how it is. People want to be here. Lodging is limited. You can't really just camp so much in the winter, so it makes sense. And so we like to say short-term renting your condo here in Mammoth Lakes will offset mortgage payments. And that's the key word there, offset. Again, it's not going to be a home run. If everybody was breaking even, everybody would be doing it. But with these prices and interest rates right now, it's just really tough. There's more expenses than that, fire insurance and HOA fees. So you have to be okay with being in the red, especially if, the bigger mortgage you have, it's going to be tougher to break even. So keep that in the back of your head. And kind of going back to your reason, to your why, if your strongest reason is lifestyle and legacy, and you just want to be here and love it, and that is an investment, right? It's an investment into yourself and your family, then you're going to have the most success here. You're going to have the most success owning your place. Because if you don't need to make a profit or need to break even, then that's going to be so much less stress on you, and it's going to be a better experience all around. So I hope that makes sense. So that was a kind of a gist of condos. Now let's talk about some single family homes. Some things that people like about single family homes. It's more quiet. Typically, there's not short-term rentals around you. It's all you. You take care of everything outside and inside, and there's more privacy typically, and no HOA, so it's up to you to do whatever improvements you want, right? If you want to paint your house pink, you totally can. No one's talking to you about that. Maybe your neighbors might say something, but that's a different story. Some cons about it. So of course you have more responsibility, and this could be tough here. With that being said, there are absentee homeowner companies in town that you can hire on a monthly basis. And depending on what you want, they can come weekly or monthly, and they could do things like your hot tub and shovel your decks and even your roofs and just make sure it's good for you. And they even can check inside where to make sure like a critter hasn't broken in, like a bear or a squirrel. Buying a house is more expensive than a condo, and there's fewer options, right? So right now, again, as of May 2024, there's only about 18 homes in the market, whereas condos, there's over 50 on the market. So typically, short-term rentals are not allowed, so no income on that front. People have rented their homes on a monthly basis. So if you're not into winter or summer, you could rent out a house for a month, 2 months, 3 months at a time. And then, of course, finding insurance too. Fire insurance is becoming increasingly more difficult, so keep that in your back pocket and budget for insurance, fire insurance, and all that. All right, so now that if you're set on buying a home, it's time to find out which areas you like in town. Is it really important to you to be near the slopes, near the village? Do you like Old Mammoth? Do you want to be like more in a cabin, log cabin, modern home? It just depends where you want to be. And so what I recommend is get in your car, driving around Mammoth. I can guarantee you that you're going to find places that you've never discovered before here. And if you want to join me, let me know with plenty of notice. You can hop in my car, and I'm going to show you areas that I hope are brand new to you. From there, I can talk to you about the pros and cons of each single area. All right, but you want to short-term rent your home. You want a home, you want, a detached structure that's all yours, but you want a short-term rent. So there are a few areas and neighborhoods that do allow nightly rentals for single-family homes. These consist of Juniper Ridge. This is that neighborhood when you're on Chair 15, Eagle Express, and you see those big, beautiful homes on your left-hand side when you're on the lift going up. That's Juniper Ridge. It's amazing. These homes in Juniper Ridge, they're going to start at $4 million typically, but you might be able to find a gray bear for, it's really hard to say, but I'm going to say minimum $2 million, just minimum. Think of that, but it's probably going to be more, especially if you watch this in the future. But again, who knows what could happen. So keep that in the back of your head, because if you want a home, if you're really set on a single family home, I can show you those neighborhoods, but they're going to be a pretty penny. So here I want to show you, and hopefully you can see my mouse, some of the areas that do allow nightly rentals for single family homes. So this is the zoning map in the town of Mammoth Lakes. Pink, take a good look at the pink. This is the resort zone. Typically this is okay to nightly rent. So you have right by Eagle Lodge, it's right here. Hopefully you can see that. And Bridges, you have a few homes over here. Beautiful homes here, right on the slopes. That's zoned resort. But then you have a few other neighborhoods, like you're like, oh, but this is Starwood. Like Starwood is zoned resort, so I should be able to Airbnb there. Well, if you ask the town, they're going to say no because the developer never opted in for that. So you got to be careful on which neighborhoods you can nightly rent. So here's the Gray Bear community. This was supposed to be like a big hotel, but they didn't do it. So a local developer, John Hooper, purchased this land and built these beautiful homes here. There's a small HOA for snow removal and I believe like some lawn care just to kind of keep the grounds up. But these are great, great homes. Amazing. So they can align this road right here and across Minaret as well. So if you want to be in one of those homes, let us know and we can take you to these neighborhoods. All right. So when you're determining which neighborhood is right for you, think about access. Do you want to be walking distance to something? It could be to a bus stop or grocery stores. In my opinion, especially if you're going to be here full time, sunshine is incredibly important. You want to be warm in the morning, and the best orientation for windows is typically south or east. North is pretty dark. I love the views looking at Mammoth Mountain, but that could be more of the afternoon sun, which can get really warm, and it's kind of short-lived too. So just think about that, and we can point that out too when we're viewing property. Age, some of these are like real cabins, they don't have forced air heat. Sometimes they just have, wall heaters or a wood stove. So think about that. If you want a newer home with forced air heat, which is great, think about age. feel, yeah, do you want it cabiny? Do you want to be in the woods? Do you care about being closer to other homes? Think about those things. Floor plan. Here in Mammoth, the floor plan is typically living space on top and bedrooms on bottom. And the reason is because you have the views upstairs, and the first floor can often get buried by snow. So you want to have your living space in the sun and not completely buried. So think about that too. Upgrades. So are you okay with a remodel? This could be difficult, but if you have experience, bring your guys up, or you can just go through it and find a contractor here. We can give you referrals. Or are you looking for more turnkey? Of course, the turnkey stuff is going to be more of a premium. All right. So let's touch about remodeling. Let's touch on remodeling your home in Mammoth. This could be your condo as well. So it's not easy. Every single contractor here is extremely busy. So sometimes their service can lack because of that. If you know people down south that you trust, or Reno, bring them up here. That's probably going to be your best bet in terms of quality and timeline. And then, of course, if you're handy, then you have a huge advantage. And if you knock it out, that's huge. So think about those things, how big of a project you want, and what type of resources you have. All right. And always remember, we have contacts to contractors, insurance agents, mortgage lenders, inspectors, property managers, housekeepers, and much more. Just let us know what you need, and we'll get you some trusted contacts for any trade. So do we know if we want a condo or home, or what our goals are and our why? So if we know that, let's talk about financing. For cash, you can skip over this. But if you think about a mortgage, just remember that, especially with condos, it can be really tricky to finance these homes. So, here in Mammoth, it can be really tough to finance Mammoth condos. Homes, you can typically use anyone. That's usually pretty relaxed. But the condos, we've seen just so many times. I have this story where we worked with Chase Bank, and they were so confident. Yeah, we can do it. We can definitely loan on this. Little things came up in the HOA docs. It got we're 20 days in. It went all the way to the top of Chase's, finance department. We talked to the main guy, and it didn't work. It didn't work out. They didn't do it. The buyers were angry. The sellers were angry, but we kept the deal together. And in a matter of a week, my buyers went to a trusted lender in town and got it done, thankfully. So at least be cross-qualified with a local lender. We can try with someone that you really like, just to have in your back pocket. Let's get cross-qualified with someone local just in case anything crazy happens. So the reason for this, everyone wants to know why. So a lot of these condos look like hotels. There's nightly rentals. At least 70% of them are nightly rentals. They have a property manager on site. So lenders have a hard time selling these notes to Freddie or Fannie, the government entities. So they have to stick to particular guidelines, and a lot of these condos don't meet them unless you're working with a local lender who knows how to work it. Sometimes it's just easier to do that. Of course, the biggest exception to this is if your lender can keep it in-house. If they don't have to sell it off to a government entity, then that's typically okay. So if it's a private loan through the bank, keeping it in-house, that's usually okay. So going through, get your pre-approval if you're getting financed, and let's get your proof of funds ready. This could be a screenshot of a bank account. It could be a bank statement. Just make sure to have your name, your bank's name, and of course, the amount of money you're putting down. So these are the tips for a great offer and when it's game time. So know what you want, be super confident of what you want, have your pre-approval and your proof of funds ready to go. And now once we have those things, it's going to be really fun because now we can hop in my car, hop in one of my team members' cars, and we can go all around town and go in properties. And personally, I like to schedule 4 to 6 properties of you because after that, it gets really hard to remember them. But I know some other people will schedule more than that. So just totally depends what's on the market and what's available. Typically, showings are around 2 hours, so kind of schedule for that. And we're happy to work with your schedule. If you want to ski first or whatever, more than happy to do that. But I love showing people, so this is the fun part. So tips to help with the showing and even after, once we've really seen some things and get a really good feel of what you're looking for, we have an option to put your search in the MLS. So you get automatic notifications when a listing with your criteria hits the market. And all we need is minimum number of bedrooms and bathrooms, your maximum price, so it won't exceed that. And if you really want an area, if you really want to be in a certain area, like Canyon or the Village, we need to know that information too, and then we'll just make a map and it's all perfect. And then, of course, send us the listings that you see online. You know, sometimes agents from down south will put in a listing in their own MLS, or there might be a for sale by owner. Feel free to send those things to us, and we'll be more than happy to schedule that showing as well if it's available. If you see something like, oh, is this too good to be true? Text us the link, and more likely than not, we've probably been inside that unit, already know the details. So feel free to send us any information and ask us any questions about Zillow, Realtor, any of that stuff. We'll be more than happy to help. Okay, so now that we know exactly what we want, we have a pre-approval, proof of funds, we know which areas we like, we've seen the inside of some properties, we can continue searching. Sometimes it takes much longer than we think, but other times maybe we found the right one on the first showing, and that's okay. That's totally okay. We've done that before. And then we're ready for an offer. So we'll have a separate training on writing an offer. You know, we'll write the offer, we'll send it to you. All you have to do is sign. We'll explain the details. In a nutshell, so we need to know what you want to offer, purchase price. We'll let you know. It's really going to vary on property to property on how much we should offer. Should we try to negotiate? You know, if it's going to be cash or financed, and who's doing your financing. So it's really going to depend on your situation and the situation of the property. But typically, we want to know how long escrow you want. You know, loan. If you have a loan, 30 days is usually standard. 21 days for a cash offer usually. And then how big of a down payment. So a lot of people do 20%. Of course, you don't have to. You can do more. You can do less. Think about that. Usually after 25% on a condo, it makes the lending process more easy. But if all you can do is 20%, that's okay too. So of course, all this depends on the market and timing. So if the listing just hit the market, but it's the right one for you, we should offer list price or maybe a little above. You know, it depends on the market too. Like, is it a hot market? Is it becoming more of a buyer's market? Has a property been sitting on the market for a long time? With that being said, there is this weird thing that I just want to touch on real quick. So as an example, so say a property has been sitting on the market for 200 days. Oh, the seller, they must be desperate. So let's put in a low offer. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, and I hate it when this happens, another buyer thinks of the same thing, puts an offer just right around the same time. So now the seller has two offers, and now they have the upper hand. This ruins our whole negotiation, unfortunately. So it's totally up to you to back out or just stick to your guns and just offer what we offered. So be prepared for that. We've seen that many times, unfortunately. Of course, we're going to put in lots of offers. Sometimes we might get it on the first one. Sometimes we might not come to agreement, but we will win one. Just remember that it will work out. And then once it's accepted, homework begins. So be prepared for escrow to give you homework. The agents are going to give you homework. Earnest money deposit, it's usually 3% of the purchase price, will go into escrow. Just be ready for that. Escrow documents, there's review of the HOA documents, and seller disclosures. There's an appraisal sometimes, inspections. Real quick on the inspections, usually we just do a general home inspection. If you see something like, maybe there's a lot of bugs inside, you want to get a pest, that's okay. But usually we don't get pest inspections in Mammoth or termite inspections. We're just in a different climate. Sometimes termites aren't a big issue here. So keep that in mind that usually we just do a general home inspection. Then after the inspection, we can always ask for a request for repair. This is another step in the negotiation process. If something big, we can ask for it. Sometimes we just want to see what we can get with some evidence of the home inspection. It kind of goes like, please fix this item or give us $1,000 as a credit or reduce the purchase price. There's a few options there. And either the seller can say, okay, no, or here's somewhere in between. That's usually how it goes. And then, of course, there's transferring utilities and the fun part of moving in, sometimes the stressful part too, of getting ready for move-in. And hopefully you enjoy it, and I hope you're super excited. So it's a super long journey, but we're here for the beginning, the before, the after, the end, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. We will always be here for you, so remember that. If anything comes up, we'll give you the resources, and we're more than happy to help always. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We're always here, always happy to do a private call, take you around town, meet for coffee, whatever you need, we are here. So Contact us anytime. There's my email. There's my cell phone. If you need anything, we're here. Thank you so much again for watching. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, reach out to us, and we'll be posting much more content. So we'll see you when you're in Mammoth. Thanks again.